It is not a book with pictures in it of what to do during sex.
Which could be good for us because we've never had it, so we wouldn't know what.
They call it
Try before you buy.
Try before you buy, yeah. Men are superior to women. That is what the book says. That is not what I believe. You need to get laid.
No, we haven't, actually. That's a lie.
Incognito mode is very valuable.
That's something that I look up on the daily, and I just want to be very clear.
This week, we're going to be talking about the Kamasutra. Is it really just a book about sex positions? Why is sex such a taboo subject to talk about, especially in the Indian culture? We're going to be answering all these questions and more. So, Half Past Crew, welcome to episode 69. Let's get into it. Welcome to
Half Past Ja.
Guys, welcome back to another episode. My name is K2.
My name is Hallie.
If you can't already tell, we're an interracial couple. I'm Indian.
I'm super white.
And we talk about being an interracial couple.
We do!
We talk about being in relationships. We give relationship advice. But you guys go to www.halfpastshot.com and you submit so many questions. And I cannot tell you how many questions we've got on this specific topic. And so we're satisfying the need of you all. Okay? We're talking about it for you all.
I mean, I feel like we have to, right?
We do. We release episodes every Monday at 7 a.m. So if you're new here, make sure you subscribe, like this video, because it helps the algorithm a ton. There's a lot of you guys here, and I see the statistics. There's a lot of not subscribed people. So please, if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. If you're watching this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, then you need to give us 5 stars and follow the podcast, because that gives you the ability to be notified at 7 a.m. every Monday.
And who wouldn't want that?
So settle in, get cozy, grab your cha, and let's get into it.
So, K2, I feel like we have to address the elephant in the room.
What is the elephant in the room?
My sunburn.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Can you, I honestly don't know if you can tell, but I guess for episode 69, we're getting saucy. Just taking down these a little bit. Can you see? Like, look at my chest. You can see the outline of the top that I wore today. I got this going on a run, everybody. And I'm regretting that I did not wear sunscreen. And Mr. Patel over here doesn't know what it's like to get a sunburn. So you cannot even empathize with me. You just tell me to take a cold shower and get over it and rub some dirt on it. You don't say that.
Hallie is white, everybody.
As we've made very clear, yes, I am white. Thank you.
So now you all know this is why Hallie is super red today. You're just going to have to deal with it. I'm so sorry.
I know. I have this jacket on and like my skin is so hot. Like I'm hot sitting here, but I also just don't want to, I don't know. It's for my white folks out there, anybody who can get sunburnt, you feel me. I just slapped it. I did again. I need to chill out. My sunburns make me crazy, you guys. That, and this is episode 69.
We don't have sex.
We don't.
And we need to make sure that that's talked about, okay? We just don't. And one of the episodes that we wanted to mention is the Office episode where they discuss the Kamasutra. What is the Kamasutra, Hallie?
Well, to get technical on you, it is a book that was written, I believe, over 2,000 years ago. I don't know the name of the man that wrote it, but he was Indian. He was an Indian man. He wrote this book. And it's interesting because the Kama Sutra, everybody, like you say the Kama Sutra, everybody knows what it is, right? Mm-hmm. But do people actually know what it is? Because it's gotten misconstrued and miscommunicated and redone over and over and over throughout the course of these 2,000 years.
And so we did some research to figure out what the Kama Sutra really is. And to our own surprise, it is not a book with pictures in it of what to do during sex.
Which could be good for us because we've never had it, so we wouldn't know what to do.
We don't know how to do that. So
we don't know how to do that.
It's a big problem. And we're going to figure out how to do it today. And you guys will be able to watch. So, sex positions are only one part of this entire book, okay? And when I say that word, okay, when I say sex positions, it's literally a description. There's no pictures in this book.
Very vividly painted description that you can just kind of picture in your mind,
This book has been taken to the Western world, and everything that was in it was taken out. The sex part of it was taken and illustrated to everyone around the world. So it is skewed a little bit. There's your answer. The Kama Sutra is more than just sex positions.
There's a lot in it. As we were getting deeper into our research, I was like, okay, I think if people actually knew what was in the OG Kama Sutra, they'd be like, that's sketch.
We'll also link some of our sources down below. If you really want to go see any of the resources that we use to come up with all this information, you can do that. If you're currently watching the podcast, you might notice that the environment has changed. We had some technical difficulties, so technically it is the next day. Let's continue on from where we were.
So Kato, I want to do something really quick. Okay, I have pulled up on my laptop incognito mode.
Incognito mode is very valuable.
Because this is not something that I look up on the daily. And I just want to be very clear. I'm looking at drawings of illustrations of the Kama Sutra. So I'm going to read off a couple of the names because I
want you to
really
name
funny.
2 of your favorites, and then I'll name 2 of my favorites. Not that we know what any of these mean because we don't perform these acts, but
if we did, we might try these.
If we did, yeah. So 2 of yours, Hallie.
Okay, one I really like.
Excuse me.
One, I think the coffee table looks kind of fun. No, oh my God, I need to stop saying that. I like the name, the coffee table. I don't know.
Hallie's a big fan of coffee.
I just like coffee, so my attention naturally got drawn to that one. So there's the coffee table. We can't obviously display these for you guys. This would be so inappropriate. Just because, not that I make my whole personality about my zodiac sign, but there is one called the Capricorn, and
oh my God, never mind. I'm just gonna leave it at that. We're not describing any of these.
We're not. That's illegal.
The reverse spoon is what intrigues me a little bit. Okay, it's very interesting the way it looks. I can't. And then the best one for sure is Zeus. It looks pretty nice at the very top.
Okay, stop saying it looks oh my God. You're a man, of course you're going to say that.
So now that we have discussed that the Kama Sutra is not about sex positions and only sex positions, we are going to move on to what it discussed.
A little bit of the history. Since it is a little over 2,000 years old, it is very old-fashioned, shall I say. As we were starting to do some of the research into this and looking into it and watching videos on other people describing it, I realized just how old-fashioned it was. Now, K2, please explain.
Men are superior to women. That is what the book says. That is not what I believe. I think we are all made equally. But the pause there was very long, so I don't know.
Do you believe that? Do you think men are superior to women? Do you think women are inferior?
I don't think so. Okay.
Why is your voice changing?
Listen, I don't think that at all. There is a section on acquiring a wife, okay?
How to acquire a wife, everybody. It's like a how-to guide on how a man can acquire a wife.
And what kind of wife to acquire. The wife has to be high quality. And these are the different characteristics that are
the high quality characteristics that a man should look for in a woman, because otherwise she's not worthy.
She is not to be a lunatic, out of the caste system. She should not reveal secrets, publicly express the need for sex. Extremely white. That's a bad one, apparently.
I literally start this podcast every time by saying, I'm super white. Not only that, I'm definitely out of the caste system. Oh my God.
Bad smelling. If they're a close relative, which
yeah, that makes
yeah, that's a good one to have on there. Female friend. I would say all of these are pretty bad, except the close relative one.
All of these are pretty bad. Oh,
like these are not good.
Okay, I was like, I'm sorry, what?
A terrible
depiction of what. Yeah, that's not reality. Okay?
2,000 years ago. Keep that in mind, okay? So that's the kinds of things that people based a lot of this stuff off. So I would say a lot of people, if this book was going around at the time, right, it's very misinformed, and a lot of the people's brains were to adjust for this specific situation. So I'm thinking a lot of this stuff carried on throughout the years. It took a while for them to readjust. I feel like in terms of this topic of sex, it just now is starting to be talked about more openly. Just now. I would say like after COVID.
In India specifically,
No,
or
in
everywhere?
the world.
Oh, everywhere. Yeah. Why after COVID?
I don't know. I just feel like it's way more accessible to a lot of people. Whereas before, like, even though we had the internet, like 2010s, right? We had the internet, we had that information at our fingertips, but it was still not very talked about. Whereas now, Gen Z is starting to be way more comfortable with themselves. They're able to talk about these things. And I think that has caused there to be a lot more talk about everything.
I remember, I mean, I guess this was in COVID times, 2020. When WAP came out, that revolutionized the world. The video, the song.
WAP, if everybody doesn't know, I'm not going to say it on here because I'll probably get demonetized, but it's a great song. I love it. It's a fantastic song.
Why is it great?
It's just such a catchy song.
It just like gets you in the... I like can't say anything without being like, oh, this is a sex episode.
It's a great workout song. Great workout song. Yeah, I love running to that song. Kidding me?
My God.
Maybe that song really just makes me run fast. I don't know what it is.
Maybe it's like
it's the beat. It's got to be the beat for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, like honestly, I think a lot of people our age remember the first time they saw that video because it was like, I mean, okay, we had 2000. When did Anaconda come out by Nicki Minaj? That was
in the
also
2000s.
revolution. Yeah, but then like I feel like we didn't really get anything to that level until WAP came out.
Yeah.
And then it was like after that, I feel like things started becoming more public. People started talking more openly about sex. Call Her Daddy is a huge podcast that got really big and skyrocketed and kind of opened the doors for conversation around taboo topics such as sex and whatnot.
Even me, I'm super uncomfortable right now talking about this. Like, that's why we aren't going into our details because it's just
we don't have sex. Okay,
exactly. We don't do that. So we can't go into that detail. But it's just it's a very taboo subject to talk about. And that's something that somebody commented about this the details that we've gotten from these videos. Like under these videos that have the comment section, there's so many comments. And one thing that caught my eye is some guy said, it's so sad how sex has become such a taboo subject in India, an act that has nothing wrong with it itself, but human thought has made it corrupt.
I mean, that's true. And it is, like many factors, like religion, obviously, number one. So many people feel ashamed of wanting to have sex or talking about it.
It's unfortunate because it's such a humanly act. Like it is one of the biggest purposes of being a human, right?
Well, it's like a primal thing, right?
Yeah,
like people
primal.
are like, you're not like that's not your main purpose, but like you're given certain things for a reason. You might as well enjoy it, right?
But yeah, this is a topic that isn't easy to talk about for anybody.
Yeah, no. And I love that we're being more open. Obviously, Skate and I are not being 1000% honest with you guys because it is something that you know, like we're vulnerable in a lot of ways, but I don't know that in this way I'm ready to be open and vulnerable yet, for even though it is episode 69, right? Like we had to pay tribute to that, like with the
Kamasutra.
The Kamasutra, and to go along with the common thing of things that we've been talking about recently. And so we thought this would be a good fit, but man, it's not. I'm not going to act like it's easy to sit here and just talk about our lives in that way because it's not. It's hard to put that kind of detail about yourself out on the internet because people are always going to judge, right? And this is such a personal thing that's made really for both of us that I don't know that I want to share just yet.
And we have a ton of questions from you guys on this subject, which
and I love it.
We'll be answering. So if you have more of those, please submit it on halfpastshot.com or comment down below. We will address them at some point, but it might come out as a members only video. So we'll see.
But I'm happy that people like, if you want to ask like intimacy questions, like sex questions, I mean, I love that. We can answer all kinds of questions, right? Maybe that'll open the door for us to start doing that more. I think we just need that push, but it's like our parents watch this.
It is a hard
Some
topic to talk
coworkers
about.
watch this. I'm like, oh my gosh. But keep them coming. We love that you guys are not afraid to ask us anything. So please keep doing that.
And going back to the Kamasutra, I want to talk about one of the main purposes, which I think you discovered through watching
Through my
these.
research.
It's one of the purposes of the Kamasutra. Do you know what it is?
I don't remember. Can you tell me what it is?
It is the purpose of sex does not have to be to have children, but to have fun.
But to have fun. What a
And
progressive statement for back in the day.
2,000 years ago, that is insane to say, right? That is just not something that is said.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's different.
I think, yeah, especially like back in the day, people, because it was even more of a shameful topic back then, that's like kind of crazy that someone said, oh, sex is for fun. It's not for having babies.
Why is it still taboo today?
I think religion has a lot to do with it. I think it's a generational thing too, because obviously people our age are not as afraid to talk about it. I know some people who are like, oh, I don't want to talk about it. I'm uncomfortable. I don't want to do that. But it can be a personal thing. It can be a religious, cultural thing, whatever. But it's becoming more and more open with dating and hookup culture and dating apps. And it's just becoming a bigger conversation. I think in so many ways, the world is moving towards being more open, which can be a good and a bad thing. You know, like I feel like maybe not everything should be shared on the internet, right? But it's nice that at least we can get certain conversations going. Some people, you know, like to know that they're not alone. Me, for example, I like knowing that I'm not alone in any situation I'm in. Know that you're not alone in any situation you're in. There are probably like tons and tons and tons of people in the world that are feeling the exact same way.
Did your parents ever talk to you about the birds and the bees?
You know what? We've talked about this a long time ago, and I don't remember. I think my mom maybe, I don't think my dad and I ever talked about it. That would have been kind of weird. He probably talked about it with my brother, but like my mom and I don't think we went into specific details, but I feel like, I don't know. I never had a good understanding of what sex or intimacy was. I just didn't know. Like up until, oh my God, I feel like up until middle school or high school, I thought that, actually, no, I was probably younger. I thought that you had babies or you could get pregnant by French kissing. I didn't know what that was. I remember it's like the moment you gain consciousness. I remember thinking like, how did I get here? Where did I come from? And I don't know, like we didn't, you know, like there weren't lots of shows or movies. Like obviously now today, shows and movies have like so much nudity, sex scenes, everything. Like you did not see that even like 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah,
it has
different.
changed. That's like one of the reasons I think it's being talked about so much more is because in the media, or not in the media, but like, you know, in the stuff we watch, it's everywhere. Sex sells. It's everywhere.
It is. And it does sell. In terms of my parents, they've never done the deed. So like, I don't know, like we didn't talk about that.
They never had sex?
No.
Then how'd you get here?
Well, I've never seen them hold hands. So I would assume that they'd never.
I've seen them hug.
Yeah, but
I've seen my parents. There's
no way. There's no way my Indian parents have done anything like that.
You have 3 sisters.
Yeah.
There are
And
4 of you.
and
The math isn't mathing, sweetheart.
anyways, we should move on.
No, wait. I want to know, like, what's the most like in terms of my parents? I've seen them hold hands. I've seen them every time they kiss, I'm like, stop kissing in front of me. Like they don't make out. Like that'd be weird, but they'll do this like, and like, and my dad. I don't need to get into it. My dad he's a jokester, just like me. He just makes dumb comments just like I do. He says stuff and I'm like, Dad, oh my God. I do the same thing though. So I can't even like get mad at it because I do that too. So I don't know.
But yeah, no, my parents have never done anything.
They've not?
No.
Okay. Think about that.
I will think about it. Anyways, there's another question on here about premarital sex. I think that's a very common thing nowadays with hookup culture and dating apps. And they call it testing it out before you buy it.
Try before you buy.
Try before you buy, yeah.
Try before you buy.
That's something that's very common.
It's interesting to me because I know people on both ends of the spectrum.
I respect both sides. Okay, I don't have any.
Yeah.
But both sides, like, to go an entire engagement period and then
dating and engagement.
That's, yeah. I mean, I respect it 100%.
Would you say that's more a personal choice or more a religious choice?
It's a personal, religious. It can be either. I think some people will wait because they, first of all, their faith, and it could be because that's just the way they want to do it. They just want to wait for that special moment, which is marriage. And that's totally fine.
I mean, I get it. Honestly, whatever floats your boat, I'm happy. Like, I'll support either way. I don't care. But I don't think that people should shame one way or the other.
I think it's bad when people shame for either side of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
That causes this whole subject to be taboo. That causes people to not be open about this very important subject, right?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I've seen it with my own eyes. I've seen people who like have sex with their boyfriend, for example, and then somebody will be like, well, you know that's wrong, right? How is it your place to say that?
That's very, I think it happens a lot more than you'd think.
You're crossing the boundaries by a lot, sis.
I think nowadays one of the biggest things that people talk about is body count and all that stuff, especially dating. I keep mentioning dating apps because it's one of the big topics that we have on here. It's caused that to be such a big thing, right?
Yeah, no, I know plenty of people that are on the apps.
Yeah.
And they're just swiping. And obviously we've never been on a dating app. So anytime anyone has ever pulled up their app in front of me, I'm just fascinated by like, what are you doing? What do you look for? Like, can I look through their profile? I just am so genuinely curious. It's so interesting.
I would love to hear from everybody else. Like, would you rather stay on dating apps? Or would you rather go turn around the other way and like start meeting people more in person? Which one's always better? Are the quality of people on dating apps better? Are the quality of people out in person better, like, or worse? Like, I would love to just like hear your thoughts for the people who are in the dating field.
Yeah.
Isn't that like interesting? Like,
because
how that works?
We've never dated around. So our body count is 1. And some people love that. Some people hate it.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts.
How would you, because we've talked about this before, and obviously we're going to get hate for this if it goes on TikTok, which it will. Would you have been, not frustrated, but would it bother you if I'd been with other people?
I was thinking about this when I was more of a younger person. I think it would have bothered me. But now, as I've grown, I'm like, okay, it's like, it's you or nobody. Like, you are like my person, right? So there's nothing that can like stop me from wanting that, even if it was like you being with other people.
What if my body count was like 15,
well,
30?
I mean, it's at that point, like, I think the problem, there's no problem with it. But the issue is like comparison. Like, I'm always going to be like, oh, but how would you compare me with this person? And
I get
person?
that.
I think that's the only thought that crosses my mind. But it is a thought that everybody kind of goes through, and you just gotta have to. If the person you're with and you love them, that shouldn't matter.
Would you judge me if that were my body count?
I would not judge you.
Promise.
I promise I wouldn't.
You can be
you.
honest.
I promise I would not judge you.
I don't think I believe you.
I would not judge you.
You can be a little judgy
because if
at
I
times.
judge you, then you would not trust me to tell me anything you wanted. You know what I mean? Like, I want you to be comfortable to tell me anything. But if I judge you, especially in such a vulnerable state like that, if a vulnerable topic like that, then you wouldn't be comfortable telling me everything, right?
Yeah.
See, that's a problem. I don't want that.
So then that begs the question too, because I'm just curious your thoughts on this. Do you think people with a higher body count are more experienced? Because I will say, with the whole theme of try before you buy, people, that really matters to people. Some people, not everybody, but there are some people out there that are like, oh, well, if they suck in bed, then I don't want them, even if I love everything else about them.
Shoot.
What do you think?
I think that a lot of people will value experience. Yes. Because I people who want to get into a committed relationship, I think there's different stages. There's people who want to get in a relationship because they want to get married. There's people who want to get into a relationship because they just want a fling or whatever it may be. And those are the people who want somebody who's, you know, more experienced because they're like, I don't want to teach this person everything, right?
But do you think having different, like, let's say, for example, somebody has 10 one-night stands and they've never been with the same person more than once, does that make them more experienced?
I don't know. I think it depends on, just like a job, right? If you have 10 years of experience doing one thing and you start doing another thing, like what? Does that mean you're going to be good at that other thing?
I don't know. I would love to know some other people's thoughts on this because I do think about this because we've only ever been with each other. Mm-hmm. No, we haven't actually. That's a lie.
We have never been together.
No, but if we had been multiple times over the years, are we more experienced per se than someone who's only been with a few other people a few other times, but had those different experiences? That's what I'm asking.
That's a great question.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm curious. So I want to know what people think about that.
Well, we have kind of discussed a little bit of what the Kamasutra is. The book itself talks about sex for a little bit, but it's more of a lifestyle book, right? It's overcompensating you on how to live your life in the ways of the Kamasutra. And so if you want to do more research, I definitely will link stuff down in the description. Hopefully this episode 69 has been useful for you all.
So Suketu, my last question to you, and you haven't lived there for a while, so I don't know that you would know the answer, but maybe from what you've experienced or seen or know people who still live there. But in India, what is the dating and relationship culture like in regards to everything we've been talking about?
When I was moving here, right, when I have been going back, dating culture was not a thing, at least for where I lived. Now it's very much so a thing. Like people will date before they get married or get engaged, and I think it's a great thing. It's good to date. I think it's a good thing because then you can actually get accustomed to the person if they like them or not, whatever it may be. And so before, I feel like it was just you're getting arranged to this person and that's that. You kind of date after you get married. But in terms of this topic, I think India is becoming way more westernized in their culture, which is great. I think it's good. I think it's more education towards, you know, respecting women. That's a big thing that has not existed in India, I don't think, for a very long time. And I think it's becoming more on the respect side of things.
What do you mean?
Just because I think the culture has always been the woman is taking care of the man. The woman is always working in the kitchen or in the house, like she's going to be staying home, whatever it may be. That is taking a turn in India for sure. Like
really?
Women are starting to become a part of the government. They're starting to get high-paying corporate jobs, whatever it may be. So it is taking a shift. Of course, in the village areas, of course, in like those smaller areas, it's still kind of the same, but it is taking a shift. It's just taking longer. You got to put it in perspective. The U.S. became independent in 1776. India became independent in 1947.
Oh my gosh.
So like we have so many years of catching up to do. India's doing a great job of catching up, but I think that has definitely stunted their growth because of their independence coming so late.
What would you say to the people out there? Maybe they're living in India right now, or they've recently moved somewhere else to a different country that like those older traditional ways of how things are in terms of household structure and relationships versus people who like that India is becoming a little bit more westernized. What do you think about that? What would you say to those people?
The people who don't like it?
Yeah.
Get used to it, mother truckers. So yeah, we need more education. We need to talk about this subject more often. I think it's a very important thing. I think that you need to get laid.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the people that are so uptight, maybe you should get laid. Please do us all a favor. It'll be good for you. I promise. It does wonders.
And with that, everybody, we just want to thank you for listening to our subject of the Kamasutra. Okay.
What was that long dramatic pause?
I was going to say something very unhinged, but I decided not to. And then I was like, I probably shouldn't say that.
Probably smart.
A reminder to make sure to visit our website, www.halfpastshot.com, to submit your own questions and stories. Thank you, Half Past Crew, for watching. We love your support. We are so excited to continue growing this community. If you want, join our Discord. It's linked down in the description in our bio site.
Go read the weekly blog as well on our website. So just go check out our website.
And as always, we will see you next Monday at 12:30.
Thank you, everybody. Yeah, I definitely did that.
Allie's like,
It's
what
hard
do we do?
It's hard to speak on that. Like I want to share, but like I don't want to be like, this is how you do this. Do you know what I mean? Like it's really.
Wait, do you talk about? Did we talk about?